What's good, YouTube? We got to talk about it. It's the hottest topic this week. And by next week, all of us are going to move on and be talking about something else that ain't got nothing to do with Epstein's list. Katt Williams recently went on the Club SHAY SHAY podcast and quote unquote aired out everybody. I am a huge Katt Williams fan, just like a lot of people. I think the dude is an absolute comedic genius. I think he is hilarious. I think that he is very intelligent with his approach. I think that he's very entertaining. I also think that he said a lot of things that were true in that interview, and he said some things that weren't true in that interview. And it's kind of hard to believe the truths when you sprinkle lies over top of it. I think that he believes most of what he said in that interview. And a lot of it is revisionist history. You know, we tend to tell stories the way that we remember those things happening, but that's not necessarily how it actually happened. But one thing I will say is, first and foremost, I can't just easily buy everything that he says. And this is the crazy thing, that we're going into the year 2024 on Al Gore's internet, and y'all are still falling for the bait. Y'all are still so easily manipulated to believe something just because somebody said it with such conviction and standing on business and it must be true. All he had to do was go on there and say that RAPE is not cool and he didn't join the Illuminati and a couple other things, and that was enough to give him enough merit for everything else that he said. I've seen this man crash out before on camera, whether it was drugs, whether it was mental health issues, it was something. Clearly something was up with this dude. We've seen it. The whole world has seen it. I have not forgotten those videos. It's still burned in my brain. I still got the image of this man getting choked out in the grass by a middle schooler after a soccer game, and the boy was holding him like Mike Epps was holding Sanaa Lathan in Loving Basketball. So the same energy that he's bringing to Club SHAY SHAY's podcast, and no, I'm not saying he was on drugs or anything like that. The man was sipping a little bit of whatever it is they was drinking. It looked like he barely was touching his cup. I mean, he kept taking sips from the cup, but that alcohol wasn't going nowhere. And then I looked at the bottles next to the cup. Looked like the alcohol inside the bottles wasn't going nowhere neither. So I don't know if he was fake sipping or he was only just sipping a little bit enough to where he could have a sober mind. I believe he was sober with what he was saying, but I just can't believe everything that he was saying. And the biggest issue that I have with everything that he said is something that he said very early on, and that was speaking on Rickey Smiley's dead son. He said that's why people believe in these sacrifices, because your son gonna die and then you gonna get up here and lie. You don't do no shit like that. You don't speak on the dead like that. I've lost loved ones. I've lost friends. We all have lost loved ones and friends. You don't speak ill on people or even fix your mouth to say no shit like that. They not here to defend themselves. You're not a part of that situation. You're not even in position to even say no shit like that. That alone right there damn near throws all the merit out the window. Because he's a character. I get it. And again, I am a Katt Williams fan. Anything Katt Williams drops, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to support it. But that was fucked up. No respect for him for saying that. Now he talks about Cedric the Entertainer stole his joke. These jokes, two completely different premises. Katt Williams was about black people's music being so loud that they can't hear how fucked up their car sounds. I remember that joke. I grew up watching Comic View. I remember when he was known as the Cat in the Hat. Cedric's premise was white people leaving Earth thinking they leaving niggas behind, but niggas right behind them in a spaceship. So what did Cedric steal from him? Mannerisms? Imitating a black person driving a vehicle? If you black and you a comedian and somebody tells you get up on stage and imitate black people driving, what you gonna do? You gonna lean back, you gonna have one arm out like you on the steering wheel, you gonna be nodding your head like you bumping some music. I don't care if you black, white, Asian, alien, Martian, Jupiterian. If somebody tells you to imitate a black person driving a vehicle, you're going to do the same thing. So what, is Katt Williams the first person to imitate a black person driving a motor vehicle? In the entire history of Comic View, in the entire history of Def Comedy Jam, in the entire history of stand-up comedy, no other black person has ever done the same, acted out the same mannerisms of a black person driving a motor vehicle, whether it's a Cadillac or a spaceship. And then people started bringing up all these clips saying that Cedric stole this joke and Cedric stole that joke. All right, whatever. Look, people steal, people borrow. I get it. It is what it is. People done stole from me. People done took my whole lane that I created of playing the rapper and the engineer / producer in the studio and having dialogue back and forth and making it, but they can't do it like me. I bet you can't do it like me. No. But I can't get so caught up in that like everybody else is. Then he says a bunch of stuff about Cedric isn't funny, his Netflix special isn't funny and all that. Like, I personally think Cedric is funny, and that's just, all this is art, and art is subjective. So that's just people's opinions. But to say somebody just outright isn't funny when this, I don't know, bro. It's kind of hard to buy that. Like, if you just don't like a person, just don't like that person. But let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. Then this man said he read 3,000 nonfiction books at the age of 8 in a year. That's 8.2 books a day. Nonfiction. Not see cat run, watch dog bark. No. This nigga was reading War and Peace, The 48 Laws of Power, Asabia. He was reading 3,000, 8.5 books a day. That's 3 hours per book. No sleep, no breaks. One library. Most libraries ain't even got 3,000 titles in them. You can be intelligent. You could be smart. Maybe he meant to say 3,000 titles. Yeah, I done probably read about 3,000 titles of books. Oh, the title of this book? Oh, the coldest one ever. The title of this book? Oh, Leviticus. The title of this book? The Bible. Yeah, I done read 3,000 titles. Man said he had a full scholarship at 12. It happens. I'm not gonna say it doesn't happen, but why he ain't take it? I don't know. Oh, then he said he run a 4.320 at the age of 52. That's Tyreek Hill numbers. There's NFL players that's not even running that. Oh, they running close to that. And they way taller than Katt. You know how long your legs gotta be to even cover that type of ground? But he can do it at the age of 52? Get the fuck out of here. Said he was making $2,000 a day stealing car radios, but was homeless. How many cars was you breaking into to meet that quota? And this is back in what, the 70s, he said? This is back when they had the Kenwoods. And then he said he put in his contract that anytime he did a movie with Rickey Smiley, he had to wear a dress. What kind of power did he have to even pull that off? I'm just saying, like, there's certain things that he said that I can believe, but I'm just addressing the stuff that's a little bit outlandish to me, because what I'm hearing is most people are so excited about this interview because it's so juicy that they just easily believe whatever he is saying. And this is the problem that I'm seeing nowadays, is that people will ignore a lot of logic and reasoning. As long as I can entertain you, you'll just go along with whatever I say without even really asking yourself how or why. And that is a huge issue in our society and in our community. Y'all fall so easily for things being passed off as facts based on how it's being delivered. I'm paying attention to a lot of stuff. I'm paying attention to the logic behind this stuff. I'm paying attention to the timeline behind this stuff. I'm even paying attention to his body language, rocking back and forth the whole time, rubbing his knees. Now, there's a lot of different things that you could interpret that as. But if I know anything about body language, normally that's a sign of some sort of anxiety. Maybe he was anxious because he was lying. Maybe he was anxious because he was actually telling the truth and was excited about telling the truth. I know I get anxious sometimes before I go up on stage because I just can't wait to murder this crowd. So I get that. I understand that feeling, but I'm not about to be rocking back and forth a whole interview wearing a compass on my neck. No, not me. And then you got people saying stuff like, oh, well, they saying if Katt was lying, why are all these comedians responding to him? If he's lying, just don't even respond. Well, isn't that what Katt Williams did? He went on there to respond to stuff that they said. I've seen Katt say stuff about other comedians, and, you know, it's this whole, oh, he's always going to tell the truth. But a lot of these issues and quote unquote beefs, he's the common denominator. Again, I'm a huge Katt Williams fan. I hope to meet him and work with him one day. I hope he could set me straight. Young man, Mr. Lucas, you have it all wrong. I hope he could set me straight. I'm just looking at things from the lens of a logical thinking individual who believes less than 60% of what he said in that interview. I don't remember too many people saying negative things about Katt Williams. I always remember them maybe giving opinions and maybe telling stories, but they never necessarily said it in a negative way towards him the way that he has in this interview. Just goes to prove people appreciate messiness as being real or standing on business. I can't wait for this next meteorite or asteroid to hit this planet and knock y'all niggas out like they did the dinosaurs. I'm out of here.